We've been selling on Whatnot here at Chase After the Right Price for about 3 years, and it's really grown the last couple of years, but especially this year. It's become the main focus. We have a desire to be the #1 seller of retro games in the live format. Whatnot's the best place to do it right now. And honestly, guys, we got to get better on Whatnot to be what we want to be. This video is going to be about that, what our strategy has been, where we're going, and how we're changing our setup moving forward.
So what we're going to do is finally redo the entire Whatnot setup. Thane, we've operated on our phone for like 2.5 years.
Long enough.
It's
You've
finally
done $1
time.
million in sales on your phone, and it's time to upgrade.
Yeah. So in case you don't know, I used to stream a little bit before I worked with Chase. So I'm going to be using these guys and OBS to essentially make the ultimate Whatnot streaming setup. Hopefully, Thane and I can share a little bit of information on what we're doing, but first step, we're gonna use this desk instead of this guy so we can actually mount a lot of stuff to it. Just a little bit easier. We're gonna start with the monitor arms, but essentially we're gonna have a 2-camera setup right here, where one's gonna be facing Chase, and then one is gonna be facing down, so we can have items spread out directly in front of us instead of having to, hold them up like we have been, because Thane, even you know from running auctions, it's a
long time, it's an exhausting time, so we're gonna
Yeah.
try to streamline it a little bit.
Yep, and then the other idea, so I have 3 of these cameras, is we're gonna keep one kind of in a top-down setup to where in the future, we might have it on like a slider so we can have a ton of stuff all along one big table, or we can just have it on a little arm and we can get a little extender and walk around with it. So maybe that'd be cool, I don't know. We're gonna have to do a lot of experimenting.
Just the start right now.
Yeah.
They're still setting stuff upstairs for our new Whatnot setup, but I want you guys to come over here with me. Some of our strategy for the last, few months on Whatnot has been getting the retro boxes and manuals that people are always looking for to complete their retro games. Kind of a unique thing that not a lot of sellers are doing, but we've had a lot of fun doing that, and I think a lot of the buyers have enjoyed that part of our strategy. We do mix in certainly other things, other concepts, controller auctions, like GameCube auctions. We got, shelf over here full of like completed box games, cartridges, Pokemons, all sorts of stuff that we need to get to eventually, and it continues to grow. We constantly want to have like really, really excellent stuff in the retro category. We actually just surpassed $1 million in sales on Whatnot year to date, which is kind of wild to think about. Where we started 3 years ago with Whatnot, it was just a small little part of our business. Right. Like I think the first year we might have done like 100,000 in Whatnot sales, and then the second year maybe 400 or 500, something like that. And now already at $1 million and projecting even more, which is wild because our goal for the entire year was $1 million. But the thing is, we've done all of that from a phone, like streaming from a phone, which is not wrong and not something that necessarily needs to change. But it's something that as we looked at our business and the scope of where we want it to go for the next many years, that's where we're like, all right, we want to make an excellent setup. And there's certain things that we want to do to make the experience a lot better, like even better than it already is. We have certain descriptors like complete or box only or, tested and works well, those types of things. But we have to like find them and sort through them. Now we can like pop it up on screen, right? Run it all through OBS. So there's a lot of things that I think the experience is just going to be better. So if you guys haven't tried Whatnot yet, now might be a really good time. Come over and see like if we're using our new setup and just get a feel for what Whatnot is like, at least in our auctions, and see if you like it. And use our link down below to get your credit if you're gonna do that. You'll get 15 bucks credit and you can use it. So we'd love to have you.
We're getting the master mount all set up right here. So this will be like the top down part of the rig, and we'll have like the little face cam be in between. These monitors kind of subject to like shifting around, especially since we're going to be kind of in that corner. This is going to enable us to do a lot of really, really cool stuff. The only thing we have to figure out is how to get these guys vertical. So, because we are going to be streaming like that. So I think even with this little ball joint here, that'll twist around, and we should be good for vertical.
And while Thane and I are setting up this room, consider checking out our channel sponsor, XYAB.
They're an awesome channel partner, and you can get $50 off your first order of $100 or more, and you can even find some of their products in our Whatnot Buy It Now section. This is kind of like Mark 1 of this setup as a whole. So we have our Stream Deck, we have some lights, we have a couple of cameras, but now that we're getting all of this stuff set up, we have the software side. And this is where things get really, really fun, at least for me specifically. Essentially, Thane and I have been planning on doing some cool graphics and stuff that we can show on Whatnot for a while. I can show you guys how it all works pretty briefly once that time comes. But right now, we're trying to see what other stuff that we need to set up kind of to get this space pretty efficient. Right now, we have the desk in standing position because we've been wanting to stand for a while while we do these auctions because it can be a pain in the butt to sit, especially with this chair. Look at this. Look at this nightmare. Everybody always makes fun of it on Whatnot. This is actually Chase's like first business chair. So you can see all the farts have just blown a hole straight through that. Oh, Chase, and out, pal. What the heck? Alley-oop. Good job. Okay, you wanna come up here and get a look at this?
I would love to.
Okay. I mean, it's not like finished or anything.
Okay.
I mean, there's still a lot of other software that needs to be
done.
Well, we've actually just been playing Super Smash Bros. And smacking boxes together.
I
But
don't think Chase would pay you for any less, you know?
yeah. But here we go. Here's just kind of like model 1. And we can finally stand.
Looks fancy. Oh, we can.
It looks a lot fancier than it actually is. But we can finally stand, Chase. Essentially how it's gonna work, and this is just mimicking the current setup we have. There's probably ways to make it even more efficient.
Is that plugged in yet?
Yeah, it is. So press number 2, and it goes to the perfect height because it will hit right up there if not.
Oh.
So this camera will go top down and kind of be on this thing. We're gonna move these mats and maybe cut some and make them a little more custom. This is our face cam here, and then we'll have another one that can float around that we can get set up eventually.
That's exciting.
This light currently just be right here, but there might be a time where we put it like face down so we can actually light up the items if we need more lighting. Trying to figure out how to get this controllable on this because the computer has some issues connecting to that. So
Oh, okay.
just random thing, but I can control it on my phone.
Nice. Yeah.
And you can too, just
All right.
download the app. So now comes the fun part. We get to actually do the setup with software, and that's when it gets really customizable. And then this table just had to go because nothing could mount to it, and we wanted to stand for a while, so I think this is just a good change. And everything can slide around with these mounts, which is nice. These we just kind of put here. It would be nice to have another monitor on, I mean, we have more monitors, but to have another one on this table for this computer. So currently, that laptop still goes to that like it did. This will control all of the streaming stuff and go to that. And then maybe have another monitor that's shared or something like that. Don't entirely know.
I mean, this is going to be
That's
the worst it will ever be, right?
Yeah.
As far as the new
Yep.
setup goes, because it's the
I mean, maybe
beginning.
cable management will get worse. I don't know. We have to keep it nice and
True.
clean, please.
Yes, let's keep it clean. But yeah, I'm excited. It's a good start.
Kind of a brief idea of what it'll look like. We have a bunch of other stuff that'll like show up in these spaces to where you can see condition and have little markers that'll just show up, which is really, really nice. Yeah, I just need to figure out this whole space and then set up like our safe zones and things like that. There's this little template that we found online that kind of shows what the Whatnot overlay looks like. So that red zone is everything that people will see on the computer, but then that white zone is what you guys see on mobile. So, hi, how are ya? All right, Thane, you stayed here all night. You've been working for what, 48 hours?
It's like 47 now.
47,
So, yeah,
okay.
48 is where lunch kicks in. So
Yeah.
that's when I get a lunch break. So I'm looking forward to that 15 minutes.
You're due
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
Did you get a bathroom break in? Because that'll eat into your
No,
lunchtime.
Mr. Chase says I'm not allowed.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So what are you working on this morning?
Listen to some Ben Rector, trying to.
Nice.
We're updating all the firmwares to this. This is kind of our Roadcaster is what it's called, Pro. This is taking all of our microphones, our audio, our sound effects, bring it all in so we can mix that, so we can send it through OBS and
Heck yeah.
try to get this thing up and running. So just tested these little wireless lapels. We've had these for a little while. We used to use these in YouTube videos. So we're gonna try them for this.
And the DJIs ended up just being a little smaller, but these play really nice with this guy, so maybe we'll look at getting the Pros. You have the Pros.
I do.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
I use them at my job, and they've been a great fit for me.
Sweet. All right, so it has been about a week of using this setup now, and we're getting some final things figured out. And we changed the monitors to be like this just so we can see everything a little bit better. Because one of the issues we were finding is that it's really hard to see the chat if our typical Whatnot window is like all the way over on this side, and with the camera being right here, we found ourselves looking from here to over there, and then sometimes we'll have price charting open, or we'll have other things or whatever. So this is kind of the setup we found that works best. Having OBS just straight up pulled in the middle of our typical auction thing here. And why that works is because on here, we don't see very much of a delay, whereas on Whatnot, we actually get a 2-second delay, which we've had to figure out a couple unique ways. So over on this, we've actually had to like change our output delay and things like that by increasing it, because there's like a 2-second delay, but just for video, not with audio. So that's made things just a little bit weird with Whatnot. And then there's also a 2-second video delay, like I mentioned. So that's become kind of it's introduced a couple issues. So now what I'm gonna do is I have some gaff tape, and what I'm gonna do is get a little cross right here so we know where our centering is for this camera, because we have a couple different zoom features set up. So if I press that button, we can see a lot of hand. Press zoom, do that, or mega zoom, even bigger. So all this is keyed in here. We have a few different buttons that we've been making. I'm gonna get this cleaned up hopefully for today's auction, but I think what we're gonna do, look at that, there's all of us. I think what we're gonna do is just slowly work on adding this. You can see we have a show in 45 minutes. So we're just gonna slowly roll out features, and I'm really excited to see what the next year of Whatnot looks like with this. Okay, Chase, we are officially 1 month in to this setup.
Yeah.
And we've changed some more things since we last showed to make it a little more efficient on the running side. The computer's off, so we will show you. But overall, how have you been feeling with the setup?
There's certainly some pros and cons to it. I really enjoy, how clear the picture is and how steady the picture is, so that people can even better see the items that they're buying. I like that it's like, hands-free. I don't have to be holding a phone and showing the item or whatever. I can set it down and move away and grab more items. So there's a lot of strengths. I love just like how clean it is. The biggest problem we still have to solve is the mobile cam. Because we have, if we're selling a Turbo Duo, for example, really high-end item, big, doesn't fit under that camera to be able to see everything, so we need a mobile cam for this example. And right now the solution that we can have is wired, which is kind of like, it'd be nice to be able to go downstairs, show buy it nows and stuff like that. So we've got some work to do.
Yeah, there is something that we can do. It's like an OBS cam link. It's essentially $80. So we'd have to know that it would work first before we can get that, but that's worth looking into. We do have another camera, and since we talked last, I believe we were going over how we passed 1 million in sales.
Yeah.
What's our goal for the rest of the year now?
That's a great question. I mean, we've kind of shifted to like Amazon being our main form of sales, but we also love the Whatnot side of things. That is our top revenue driver to this point in the year. So it's like a shifted strategy of like we were doing kind of everyday auctions. Now we've taken off 2 weeks. We've never really done that in the whole year. But I want to have like more big shows, like all day, like high-end items as a focus point, and then less of the just daily grind, for lack of better term, shows like the ones that just you always have to be doing. We still need to do it, but we also need to have more time for Amazon, because that's where Q4 stuff gets crazy. So yeah, it's a balanced strategy.
So 3 years to get to this point, all from a phone.
Yeah.
At what point in business is it worth spending money to upgrade?
I don't think that it's ever necessary. I don't think you ever really have to. But if there's a return on investment that exceeds the investment, and you have the cash to make that investment, that's where like I've had a mental shift, because I used to be very, very cheap, like very low lift, very like anti-investing in things because it just costs too much. I can figure it out in different means, but then all my time is going to that. I'm not maximizing profits. There's all sorts of things, like getting a disc cleaner. It's one of those things that just makes sense to do it at a certain point. If you're doing a lot of sales, if you got a lot of games that could need cleaning, and you have the cash, right? So this is one of those things where it's like, we don't have to do this, and this is version 1, you know, of the setup. It could completely change. So for us, we have team meetings projecting things of like where we are, how things are going, how they were in the past compared to now, and where we want to be in the future. And one of the places that we want to be is the #1 seller of retro video games on Whatnot. If that's where we want to be, then part of that is like, okay, well, we want to have an excellent setup. So yeah, just like solving these problems to make sure that like our setup kind of matches our goals and our hopes for CATRP. We're dressing for the job we want, not the job we have, right? Like that type of mindset. So.
And then I think actually in the Discord, we might do a live call soon, kind of going over just some business like philosophy type stuff, especially when it comes to Q4. A lot of people have been requesting that. So maybe I think what we'll do is we'll share our pillars of the business in that call, and then even potentially like, hey, here's how to set goals, especially for Q4. So
yeah, that'd be fun.
I don't know how far in the future that'll be. But definitely check out the Discord. It's an amazing community over there.
Great people.
And we have some cool tools that could be rolling out soon. For members, yeah.
Me and Sky Guy. And as you guys are watching this, I think we're actually going to be doing a big show tomorrow, October 18th, starting at 9 a.m., going all day. We're giving away this Zelda Hyrule Edition Switch Lite and the Zelda OLED, both brand new. So those are giveaways. And there's probably going to be even more giveaways than that. But like, this is just a small start. We have multiple collections incoming as well of some of the stuff that will be there. The beautiful Pokemon 3DS. We got Pokemon Stadium 2 in the box, red, silver, really nice handhelds. More stuff down here, but we'll have hundreds of other super high-end items that will be part of that show.
You guys know us.
It's going to be crazy. But I want to leave you guys with one last question. Live selling, in whatever format it takes, whatever platform, is that going to be a greater part of the future of reselling, or is it simply going to be a part of your future in reselling? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.